Hello everyone, I am Dr. Preeti. The subject that I will be discussing is analog circuits with subject code KEC 402, and the topic is differential amplifier. In the previous video, I had started differential amplifier, introduction of differential amplifier, and we have seen different classification and the derivation of one of the configuration, that is dual input balanced output configuration. So these are classification have been discussed in previous video. This is your dual input balanced output differential amplifier. So in previous video I have discussed how we can get this expression of V out. So this is the output voltage of dual input balanced output differential amplifier that we can see is capital RC upon small re times V in minus V in 2. This V in minus V in 2 is the differential voltage. So we can conclude here that the output voltage is amplified RC by RE times the difference of the input voltage. So that is why it is a differential amplifier. So the gain of this differential amplifier, it is represented by AD, that is differential gain. That differential gain is the voltage gain of differential amplifier. So that will be the ratio of output voltage to the input voltage. So output voltage is V out, input voltage will be the difference of the two voltages that are applied at the base of the two transistors. So when we divide this expression of V out by VID, then this V in 1 minus V in 2 gets cancelled out, and the gain we get as RC by RE. That is the gain of dual input balanced output differential amplifier configuration. Now next is the differential input resistance of this dual input balanced output configuration. What is differential input resistance? That is the resistance seen from the input side. Here we have two inputs, so this differential input resistance we can have two, that is one that is seen from the input side 1, and the second one that is seen from the input side 2. So to calculate the resistance, that is written here as RI1, this I have taken for the input resistance of side 1 where the V in 1 is connected. So to find the input resistance, at the input voltage one side we will keep the other voltage to 0. So here R in 1 is defined as V in 1 upon the input current, that is IB1, keeping the other voltage 0, the other voltage that is the input 2. So this IB1 we can write as IE1 by beta AC. Why it is being done? Because the expressions of IE1 and IE2 we have already calculated. In the previous video we have seen that how we can calculate the current values IE1 and IE2. IB1 is not known, so I will replace this IB1 by this IE1 by beta, and here we will put the value, the expression of IE1 that we have already calculated. So that expression of IE1 is RE plus RE multiplied by V in 1 minus RE multiplied by 0. Here we have V in 2. So for this case, when we are calculating V in 1, our V in 2 will be 0. So that 0 is placed here, and in denominator we have RE plus RE whole square minus RE square. So when we simplify it, we get this RE as beta AC multiplied by small re, re plus 2re divided by re plus re. So this is the expression of input resistance that is being seen from the input side 1 for a dual input balanced output configuration. Normally this RE value is very greater than the small RE value. So the two terms that are written here, RE plus 2RE, will be reduced to 2RE, and RE plus RE will get reduced to RE. So it will be 2RE, taking that capital RE is greater than a small RE. So that is placed here. RE plus 2RE will be nearly equal to 2RE, and RE plus capital RE will become nearly equal to capital RE resistance. This capital RE resistance is the equivalent resistance of the two emitter branches. So we get this expression as beta AC RE 2RE upon RE. So this RE will get cancelled out, and the final expression of input resistance 1 is 2 beta RE. So this 2 beta RE is with this condition when we have RE is greater than RE. Similarly, we can calculate the input resistance at the side of the second input. So when we calculate the input resistance 2, that is the input resistance that is seen from the input side 2, at that time we keep the input 1 as 0. So RI2 will be defined as V in 2 by IB2, keeping V in 1 as 0. So all the same steps that we have followed for calculating input resistance 1 will be followed for the input resistance 2 also. IB2 is not known. We have calculated IE2. So we can replace this IB2 to IE2 by beta, because that IB current is IE by beta. So here we can put the value of IE2 and we can get the final expression of input resistance 2, that is from the input side 2. So same thing is done here. This is the expression of IE, and that IE by beta, that beta is in the numerator by taking the reciprocal to the numerator. Here this term that is written as 0 is V in 1, because when we are calculating the input resistance at the side of input 2, we have kept V in 1 as 0. So simplifying this, we get the input resistance expression like this. Now the circuit is same, so we will take the same assumption that RE is greater than RE. So this one, if I number it as 1, so this equation number 1 is the exact expression of input resistance that is being seen from the V in 2 side. So with this assumption, that expression will reduce to 2 beta AC into RE. So we can see that this expression, that is R in 2 and R in 1, both are same, that is 2 beta RE. Why this is same? Because our circuit is symmetrical about the center line, and input side and output side we have same combination. So the input resistance and output resistance that we are getting is same. Next is your common mode rejection ratio. Common mode rejection ratio is when we connect the two input of this differential amplifier with the common signal. Here we can see the same V is connected to the base of transistor 1 and base of transistor 2. That signal here is named as VCM, that is common mode signal. So this common mode rejection ratio defines the capability of any differential amplifier to reject any common mode signal. So it is a dual input balanced output configuration. We are measuring output between two collectors, and both the inputs are present here, although these are the same inputs, but both the inputs are present here. So, the same thing, the ability of differential amplifier to reject any common mode signal is expressed by common mode rejection ratio. So, the common mode rejection ratio we can calculate by taking the ratio of differential gain and the common mode gain. Differential gain that we have calculated when we have applied two different signals at the two inputs, then at that time what the gain of amplifier is the differential gain. Common mode gain is the gain of differential amplifier when we apply same signal at both the inputs. So, common mode gain is defined as VOCM upon VCM. VOCM is output of differential amplifier for common mode signal, and VCM is the common mode signal that is applied at the two terminals of the differential amplifier. One more thing with this dual input balanced output configuration is its output resistance. So, if we want to write its output resistance, so if we see the circuit, let's say it is RO. So, we will be having two output resistances, RO1, RO2, because we have two collectors. So, RO1 and RO2 we can have. So, if you see the circuit of differential amplifier, so this was the circuit, this emitter resistance RE, and at the base side we have input resistance and input voltage. This is V in 2, this is R in and V in 1. This is RC resistance. So, devices are identical and we are measuring output between the two collectors. So, two BJTs are identical BJTs. The resistances that are connected here, RC and RC, are same. So, when we look from the right side, the output resistance will be RC, and from the left side also the resistance that we will find as output resistance of this amplifier will be RC. So, this output resistance value will be RC for this dual input balanced output configuration. Next configuration is dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. So, dual input, so input side the circuit will be same. At the output side, what is the difference? We are measuring now output between one of the collector and ground. Here this measurement is pointed at C2, but we can measure it at C1 as well. So, that unbalanced output is defining that the output that we are measuring is not between the two collectors, it is between one of the collector and the ground. It is dual input configuration. So, the input side will remain exactly same to that of previous one. We have two inputs, V in 1 and resistance here is R in 1. Similarly, on the other side we have V in 2 and resistance R in 2. Collector resistances RC and RC, both the devices are matched, identical devices, and resistance here is I RE. So, current will also be the same. Here we will have 2 IE. Current flowing through RC will be IC current, and from the base we will be having IB current flowing in the circuit. So, analysis wise, in the same manner we can do its DC analysis, we can do its AC analysis. So, you will find that when we do its DC analysis, nothing is going to change. The expression of quiescent DC point will be same as that of the previous configuration, because when we apply KVL in the input loop, from both the side we can use any one of the loop, we can see there is no change in the base emitter loop of this configuration and the previous configuration. Output network is also same, with the difference that we are earlier measuring the output between these two. Now we are measuring between collector 2 and ground. So the expressions will be same and the procedure will also be exactly same that we have followed for the dual input balanced output configuration that you can refer in the previous video. So this value of IE and VCE we will be getting for this configuration also, and that is exactly same as that of the previous one. Now coming to the AC analysis. This is the AC equivalent circuit of this configuration. So here this is the small signal model of BJT. This is the small signal model of the second BJT, and there are two loops indicated, loop 2 and loop 1. RE resistance is indicated here, and this is the RE resistance for the second transistor. So now we will apply KVL in the same manner as we did with the previous one. So here we have with the difference that in previous one we were measuring output between VC2 and VC1. Now we are measuring between C2 and ground. So the two equations that we have written in this loop, loop 1 and loop 2, will be same as that of the previous one. Starting from V in 1, we can write V in 1 minus R in 1 multiplied by IB1, then RE multiplied by IE1, and this, now we will follow this path, that is IE1 coming from the left, 1 IE1 coming from the right, and here with this we will be having 2 IE, that is IE1 plus IE2 flowing through this resistance RE. So these are the two KVL equations. These equations are also exactly same as that of the previous configuration because our loops and the circuit is same. So here we have IB1, IE1, IE2. Similarly, in the second equation we have IB1, IE2 and IE1. So three unknowns are there, we have two equations. So this IB1 we can replace in terms of IE. Similarly, this IB2 will also be replaced by IE, and that this we will be writing as IE2 by beta, and taking this value, this term we can neglect due to its small value, and the final expression that will appear is RE plus RE V in 1 minus capital RE V in 2 divided by RE plus RE square minus RE square. So this expression will also be exactly same as that of previous configuration. The complete derivation of this IE1 and IE2 you can refer in previous video. Now the change will start from this point where we will be calculating output voltage. Here the output voltage that we are measuring is across the collector 2. So this is your output VC2 across this collector resistance RC that is connected at the collector 2. Here the remaining circuit is there. So that output is written as VC2, and with the direction that it is written as minus RC into IC2, and this IC2 has been replaced by IE2, considering that the base current will be very small and that IC is nearly equal to IE. So from here we got this value as minus RC IE2, and IE2 expression we already have, so we can put this IE2 here and we can simplify to get the output voltage. So putting this expression of IE2, we get this output voltage in this term. Here also we can simplify it by following the same expression, that is RE is greater than small re. So this term will be reduced to RE and this term will get reduced to 2RE. So here when we put that simplification, so we get this output as RC upon 2RE V in 1 minus V in 2, or we can write it as RC upon 2RE V ID, that is the difference of voltage at the input side. So gain will be this V out divided by VID, so this VID will get cancelled out and we are left with this term RC upon 2RE. So this is for dual input unbalanced output configuration. So if we see the dual input balanced output configuration, for that we have got this gain as RC upon RE and here we are getting as RC upon 2RE. So we can say that for unbalanced output configuration the gain is half of that balanced configuration. Similarly, the output that we are getting here is RC upon 2RE, that with the balanced configuration we got it as RC upon RE. Differential input resistance will also be the calculation step you can see with the previous configurations. Here we can see that the circuit is not changed, the circuit is same. The only change with this configuration is the point where we are measuring the output. So it will not affect the resistance. So R in 1 and R in 2 will be same 2 beta AC into RE. This is the approximated value. The exact value that we have calculated in the previous configuration, that will also be the same one. Output resistance. Here we are measuring output between one of the collector, output is associated with one of the collector. So here we will not define two outputs because we are measuring at one of the collector. So R out will be R out and that will be equal to RC.